Hey guys, what's up? This is Matt with the Teachers Lounge. I am a stand-up comedian and actor, and I'm also a teacher. And as I said last week, unfortunately.
All right. My name is Chris Dunham. I'm a 7th grade teacher and I do stand up.
Hey, what's up? What's up? My name is Zoe Johnson. I run theater after school programs, and I'm also a actor and comedian. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
Get
do
it.
it.
Let's
We got to
get
get
it.
our energy up, guys.
I
We're
know.
about to hit
Yeah.
spring break.
I know,
You're on
right?
spring break too, right? In
Not
Houston?
yet. Not yet.
When do you hit spring break?
We got the next. So 2
Oh
more
my
weeks.
gosh. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, just call it summer break. Why
Yeah.
are you having spring break that late? That's crazy.
Y'all already had y'all spring
Well, no, we're having our spring break right now.
right now
going
for the
right
whole
now.
week, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, for
Wow.
a full week.
Wow, for a week.
Dude,
I get 2 weeks.
wait, for real?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what's funny? I get it now. Because when we tell teachers
Yeah.
about like our breaks and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it's kind of a little bit D-baggish because it's like pulling up in a Ferrari and flashing a wad of cash because you're like,
Absolutely.
we get a week off.
Yeah.
Teachers sometimes in the comments get a little pissed off.
They get
Oh.
pissed.
Yeah,
Oh
they'll
my
be like, you
God.
guys get a full week?
Yeah.
And so now I understand their pain because you're like, I get 2 weeks and I hate you a little bit for it.
So
Weeks.
do you guys,
You know?
how long is your winter break then?
The winter break, I
If
think
you get
it's
2 weeks, I mean.
yeah, it's still 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay, so they're taking, that's where they're getting their week from.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
borrowing.
Yeah,
we get 3
They
weeks.
gotta take away a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when are y'all done with school though? When is it over?
June
June
12th?
12th, something like
12th,
that.
11th or something like that.
Yeah, ours is still over on the week of June 6th, actually. Yeah.
I like how we looked at each other like a couple and it's like June 12th, like remembering our anniversary.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Was it June 12th? Here, let's do the finger of God painting, the touch.
Oh, that bam.
Yeah,
Oh.
bam. That was weird.
I know.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, following us. We do this for you guys. And every week we get to hear you guys' stories about how stressed out you are in the classroom, how stressful teaching is. You guys tell us the highs, the lows. But let's be honest, mostly the lows, because as you said, and I have to say this every week because it's such a good introductory like sentence to people who haven't watched us. We are AA for teachers.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's really what we are. I can't say it better.
Support group. We're
We're a support group for teachers.
Yep, that's exactly what it is.
100%. We sit around in a circle, we hit the timer, and we
Yeah.
talk about teaching.
Yeah, y'all. We want y'all to come to our page and vent it out, let it out. Whatever's going through your mind, you stressed out, bad day. Come to our page and vent it out.
Even
You
if
know
it's a
what I'm
good
saying?
thing too,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
That's I see good things that people talk
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah.
The good things that people comment on usually gets drowned out by the other people.
Screaming,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like a mad person with their
I
hair
have an
on fire.
autoimmune disease now because I'm a teacher.
Yeah, and then it's got like 3,000 likes on it
Yeah.
because the other people, they get it.
And,
What's
and they don't want to hear positive things sometimes.
They don't?
We post positive things,
it gets like,
nothing.
yeah, no.
Nothing.
But you know what's interesting? I've
Yeah.
had some teachers reach out and they don't actually want to comment on the videos because they're afraid of being seen. There's a lot of paranoia in education, I'm sure, as you guys have seen, with people's schools seeing what they post online. There's a lot of hysteria. So sometimes it's like that Catholic priest effect to where we just have like the curtain up and then
Yes.
somebody just comes into confessional and is like, hey, I wanted to send this to you in a message. Don't want to put it on your video because you know,
Exactly. Private messages is like them leaving a comment. And then sometimes when you look at your shares and you're like, oh my God, why are the shares are about the same
as the likes.
as the likes? And you're going, oh, that's the secret like.
Dude, it's like
Yes.
contraband. It's like a contraband thing. Like in
Yeah.
it's like a Bible in a communist
And
country.
you can, the problem that I feel really bad for is that some people can look at stuff that we talk about and going, oh, they're just complaining. No, it's all constructive criticism.
Absolutely.
There is not just complaining to complain. No, constructive criticism. If you think it's complaining, this isn't the place for you, because everything that we actually talk about would benefit not only teachers, but all the students, everything down the line. Admin across the board, all public education.
And I concur with what you said, because Chris is one of those guys that he's going to do research and think about it for hours before he says something about it. He's not going to just speak it. He's going to think about it. He's going to do his research and speak his mind on camera, stating facts. That's one thing about Chris.
Yeah, dude, you're really
Yeah.
good at just stating facts. Like,
Yeah.
you're really good at breaking apart the education system. You're the guy that I go to anything education related. I never need to read
Feels so
another
good.
education textbook again. I just have to ask Chris and be like, dude, when was the first public school started? And you'll be like 1804.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny that you say that? Someone actually sent me a message today asking me about getting a teaching credential. And it was a friend of mine. And I broke down all the different ways. And he goes, "You're better than Chat GPT."
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
of the way because I know exactly what to do. And then a part of it too, man, when it comes to like research, I like to know. I
Yeah.
just like to know things, and
Mhm.
I like to understand things.
Mhm.
Yeah, especially when I disagree with something.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
actually when I research stuff even more, which
Absolutely.
would be, most people when they disagree with something at first glance don't want to do any research into it. I actually
Absolutely.
want to understand why, so I can destroy it completely. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
You will. You definitely will.
I like to
Destroy it.
understand things
Yeah.
too, but I feel like you just really understand. I mean, you've been in education for a while, but it's like you really, really understand it. And, I've been in it as a regular teacher for going on 2 years now, as
Yeah.
a sub for 1 year. But you were my tech support guy getting through the sub process, because if you guys have ever applied at our district, and we're not going to tell you what district it is,
Because it doesn't
but
even matter.
it doesn't, but it's so absurd to get a job there. I feel like I'm going on an Easter egg hunt in a major city where
Mhm.
where the eggs are just spread out, because you look for clues on how do I get a job here.
Okay.
It's so unorganized. It's crazy.
So how do you get a job then?
I don't even remember how I
Mm.
got a job. All I know is there were so many steps, there were so many processes to getting a job. Even just becoming a sub took me about 3.5 to 4 months to get hired. I had
Really?
to take all kinds of tests. I had to do all this different stuff. Yeah. It's really easy to get hired because there's a teacher shortage, but they make it so difficult to actually get hired. It's like, do you guys want people to work here? It's like saying now hiring. And it's like, okay, where's the door at? And you spend the next 4 months trying to find how to get into the
Yeah,
building. It's
it's
insane.
since you say that, part of me also wants to. It'd be mostly to. I think the majority of it would be to help out people that are new
Mhm.
in our school district.
Mhm.
But there's a part of me that wants to do like an informational website to show people all the things that they can do, the easiest things they can do to getting a credential. What are the best things to do to increase your salary? Because these are unspoken things.
Absolutely.
And even when you ask people, it's like they don't know. And I think it'd be really helpful for people.
I think it'd be real good.
Dude, everything in education is a riddle. When I first started trying to get hired, people would say things be like, okay, Jeffrey's going to call you. I'd be like, who's Jeffrey? And it's like, Valerie, the one that Valerie told you about. Who's Valerie? Oh, don't worry, Kevin's going to step in. Like, there's just all these people that work in the education field. And you and I have talked about this before. When you actually go down to the building, you're like, what are all these people doing? You told me a story one time about turning in your transcript, and somebody's job was to take the transcript, walk over to somebody else,
No
right?
lie. They said bring 2 sealed transcripts, college transcripts, to the same building, to the same floor. And literally, you hand it to one, and then the other one goes to the person that is literally across the hall.
I'll be
And
right
you
back.
go,
Yeah.
wait, what? Why do you even need 2? Because you have 2 people doing one person's
How do you
job.
even interview for that job? Like, how swift can you walk 90, like not even 90 feet? How swift can you walk 20 feet?
I know.
Okay, now walk back and forth. It's like a runway model, but with orthopedic shoes on. Like, how well can you hand this transcript?
Is it
Like, how do you even?
is it because they want to screen it first before it gets to the big person?
It's because they're so they have so many different departments, so they need it in separate areas. Where you're like, didn't you guys ever think of having like a central database for that specific candidate that
Yeah.
that you can physically upload, still have them upload the stuff that they need, but then everyone else can just view it,
Absolutely.
right? Or why are you even doing that when if I'm going to become a teacher, I have to go to the teacher credentialing program? Shouldn't they have all of the stuff on file? Why do you need it as well?
Yeah.
because they can't grant me it by the state unless they have my transcripts and have verified it. So if I'm verified,
What's the
we're
problem?
good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very silly.
Do you think schools are behind us system wise on how to process things? You think?
100%.
Yeah.
And then it's also someone goes, probably like, oh, we don't want to spend the money to update things. And then it's also, hey, 2 people can have a job.
Makes
Yeah, I mean,
sense.
if you could get me a job at a building with a place like, and I was like, all you gotta do is walk back and forth handing out transcripts. I'd probably take it if I was hurting for money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? How much do I make?
And I'm-
80 grand a year.
And what do you
It's
think?
like,
Take it.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll take it. I can walk back and
And
forth.
on top of it, you're surrounded by people that are coming in that want a job. So no matter how inefficient, now how bad you are, you know that they're going to act nice to you.
Well,
Absolutely.
dude, it's weird because like whenever I needed help getting my credential and whenever I needed help just figuring out how to get hired, I would call them. And like whenever they would answer the phone, they would answer it like you said it best. I remember you go, it's like you interrupted them while they were singing happy birthday to someone.
What?
And that's exactly what it feels like. They're just so rude and it's like, dude,
We're all on the same
nobody
team.
yeah, we're all on the same team. Why can't you help me get a job here? It's not like I'm joining the Illuminati.
And you're right. And also on top of it, it's, you look at it and you go, they're like, well, the information is on the website. Yeah, but there's like information here, information over there. There's your scavenger hunt instead of here's everything.
It's not detailed. Step 1,
Yep.
step 2, step 3, step 4. It's like all the steps are on different things.
So it's not easy like this. Like, okay, let's say if someone's hiring at your school, they're looking for a teacher. Would you know that? And then if you knew that, could you say, hey, my friend's going to apply for a job? And it just kind of happens like that.
So if you know people that know people, you can actually skip a lot of those steps.
Okay.
A lot of the steps that are there, I mean, it's crazy to think that even in public education, it's all about who you
There's
know.
bureaucracy.
I can believe it.
And so it's amazing because like I know a guy who had just wanted to get a job teaching full time. So I was like, I know a spot. Contacted the principal. That principal made another phone call. That kid, I didn't have to go through any kind of interview process with like LAUSD, with anywhere, right? You know, it just boom, 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 job happens because he was already cleared through other stuff.
That's interesting. There was a problem with my credential earlier this year, and I have no idea what it was. But somebody from the office called, and it just mysteriously went away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like so gangster. It's like, yeah, we made it go away.
Yeah.
So
hey, by the way, I want to say thanks again, everyone, for tuning in, and especially, and we're going to get to some comments here in a second. Thank you for leaving comments on our videos. Also, thank you so much for the private messages. Please continuing sharing our stuff, liking and following us on all platforms. So speaking of that, before we get into comments, gentlemen, starting with Mr. Zoe, how is your week going?
My week going. My week has been really stressful because, kids been acting up in the after school program like crazy, and the teachers are stressed out. And some kids quit because they're like, you know what, I don't like this play, and like I'm done. And then my teacher's stressed because they're like, you know what, we went through this whole process to, cast someone, and then all of a sudden they don't want to do it. And it's mostly the fifth graders. And she said the fifth graders are thinking they're too cool. You think the seventh graders are bad, but the fifth graders in elementary schools are bad as well, and especially the boys. And they're just having a problem because the kids just don't want to be there. They're stressed out, and they have to cast like 10 other kids. They got third graders playing fifth grader parts and stuff like that. And it's just kind of hard. And I just got to hear their problems and come up with like solutions. Like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Get this younger kid a chance. Younger kid might be better than the fifth grader. So it's just been a lot of just misbehaving in after school. And you think kids are bad during in school? After school, they're worse.
Yeah, like that's when they turn into a werewolf.
Yeah, they're worse. So yeah.
And I would probably say maybe because you've now worked with this program for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's like certain patterns that hold, like you say, seventh graders, right?
Yeah.
But every once in a while, maybe you can attest to this, you'll have a weird group of, it could be second graders, or like you said, fifth graders.
Yeah.
But they're just this weird group that are popping off.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be an entire grade. Yes.
But it's an anomaly. You're
Yeah.
not going to see another 5th grade group act like this for 7 years.
Yeah.
That's interesting because there is a grade that's like that at my school this year, and everybody's having a tough time with that grade.
So what was it?
Well,
Yeah.
for us, the 5th graders, because they have fun when they were in 3rd and 4th grade. They loved like theater. They had fun. They had lead roles. Now they become 5th graders. Nah, I'm too cool for that.
That's so funny,
cool.
dude.
Sorry, I'm
You
10
go
years
through a
old.
phase in 5th grade to where you
Yeah.
act like you're
Yeah.
completely grown,
Absolutely.
and then you act ridiculous in 6th grade again.
Facts.
5th grade you peak because you're upperclassmen, and then 6th grade you get your finger back in your nose.
Yeah. Then 7th grade, you're back to a brat again.
You're back to a
Yeah.
brat. 7th grade is like a weird thing. That's like
Yeah.
the way that I can explain it is it's purgatory.
Mhm.
Because like, you know, at like being a really small child is pulling your arm one way,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
being like a cool 8th grader is pulling your arm the other way. So that's why like they have mustaches, but they'll play tag with each other in the middle of class. It's like a very weird age, you know?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
also as Kip Thompson says, it's the black hole of education, 7th grade.
Yeah, what does he mean by that?
So what he means by that is everything. It's like
Chris has a lot of metaphors, by the way, but keep going.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
all he means is it's a forgotten everything. People forget that it even exists because 6th grade, everyone cares about 6th graders because they're brand new, right? 8th graders, right? They're about to graduate, and 7th graders. It's also a weird time because, and you could also ask Kip about what he truly means with the black hole. I just thought it sounded cool, but I think it's one of those times where a lot of kids realize, especially if you're at a lower performing school, that there's no consequences for not doing any work. So they just stop completely.
Yeah.
Imagine having a class of 19, 20 kids and only 6 kids will even pick up a pencil and there's nothing you can do about it. But here's what happens in 8th grade. Ready? They're not rebelling as much.
Yeah, they settle down.
And you hold culmination over their head. So I see this line. You should see the line going into Kip's room. It's so funny. There's times where I can't even hang out with him at lunch because he's dealing with kids. They're like, I'm not going to graduate, mister. What can I do?
Yeah, they're trying to bribe him.
Yeah.
It's like the judge, like, hey, can you just cut me a deal?
Because if they don't graduate, that's so much shame upon them.
That's the worst. 8th grade, failing behind, it's the worst.
That's good though, dude. You need something to hold over kids' heads to motivate them.
At all times.
And people, like, they try to get rid of that in education, and it's just silly. Yeah. Anyways, though, I feel going back to your original point, what were we? How is your week though?
It's cool.
Is it besides the crazy kids? Did you ever resolve it?
I'm still resolving it, and this was thing that you don't stop resolving it. It just every week you're resolving something. Every week,
yeah, everything.
Little dumpster fire.
It's always boom,
in a different location.
Pop up. Yeah.
What about you? How's your week going?
Well, what I want to share has nothing to do with teaching.
Okay.
Ready? So I didn't know it was opening night. Went with a friend to go see Spam-A-Lot, right? For anyone that doesn't know, that's Eric Idle took the time to write another musical based upon the Search of the Holy, Monty Python and the Search of the Holy Grail.
Okay.
So I go to it. Had such a fun time. It was so much fun. There was one period in it where I'm telling you, the amount of laughs and jokes packed into it was incredible. So the thing ends, right? They're taking their curtain call. And I'm getting ready to leave, right? And they go, we got a special guest coming up on stage. They brought Eric Idle, who wrote it, on stage.
That's cool.
Wow.
Not only that, he started talking for a second, and then the guy who played Arthur goes, "Hey, would you guys like to sing a song with Eric Idle?" And I'm like, "There's no way they're gonna sing this song," and they did. Imagine the entire Pantages Theater singing along to "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life" with Eric Idle.
Wow.
It was such a culmination, throwing me back. I'm like, such a beautiful Los Angeles moment.
Yeah.
With a guy who made me laugh so incredibly hard. That definitely has an influence on me doing stand-up when I get into my silly part of act outs. And singing that song, and that had such a huge connection between me and my brother. And I sat there and almost like wanted to cry because
That's
I was
dope.
like, I never thought that getting to sing along this with Eric Idle was on my bucket list of
Who's
things.
Eric Idle again? Is he just like a big writer?
He's one of the creators of Monty Python.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
You always think of John Cleese and
So
you know, a
John
few
Cleese
others.
is also one of the big ones, right?
Yeah.
So you got John Cleese and Eric Idle, and both of them were two of the probably.
I love Monty
There's
Python.
so many good people that huge influences, but John Cleese and Eric Idle are the two big names
Gotcha.
that people
Okay.
know. People know John Cleese because he had a bigger movie
Solo.
career
Yeah, he did.
afterwards.
And he was also a director too, you know.
Yeah.
So
But Eric Idle, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
that's
I know,
cool.
So
That's legendary. right there, bro.
that's one of those moments of like, guys, Robbie Krieger of The Doors still plays
Yeah.
at the Whiskey A Go Go right down the street. I'm like,
Mhm.
I have to make this happen.
absolutely.
If I don't, I'm gonna get so angry with myself. I mean, The
Yeah.
Doors were one of the biggest influences.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's how my week's going.
That's
Good deal.
beautiful, bro.
Yeah.
But that's a
That's what's
moment
up.
that just make you just feel good about yourself, man. Just a moment where you're like, it's a connection.
Yep.
You still have to do stuff, dude. As you still got to feed your soul, especially now when you teach. You have to feed your soul, and you have to do things that you enjoy. And it's very easy to forget that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
To do that, to take care of yourself. Week is good because today was like a half day, and a half day is just it's the greatest thing
Absolutely.
when you're a teacher. That extra 2 hours, and it's so crazy because it's like you get a chance to feel like you're back in school again.
Absolutely.
Because you're like, maybe I'll just go walk around in Target. Maybe I'll just take my time. Maybe I'll just, you know what I mean? Like that
Absolutely.
extra 2 hours
Mhm.
that you get. I don't know why it's so awesome, but once I started teaching, I'm like, I get off 2 hours early. It's a great feeling. So that was a great way to end the week going
Yeah.
into spring break.
Did any kids ask you what you're doing for spring break?
Not really. They usually do. You know what I mean? But I think they're so they just want the spring break so bad. Like this week was really tough
Mm.
because the kids were just bouncing off the walls this week. You know,
Mm.
this week is kind of a blur, to be honest with you. It's one of those things. I mean, teaching middle school is kind of a blur because it's like going on a bender. You're like, what happened this last week? You know, and this week kind of feels like that. But I'm going to the Bay Area tomorrow. I am going out to San Francisco.
For the week?
Till Wednesday. I'm going
Nice.
with Alexa. Gonna hang out at her parents' place
Okay.
and just get out of LA.
That's good.
You know, because every now and then I feel like you just have to get out of Los Angeles because it's like when you get out, you're able to come back, look at it with fresh eyes.
Refresh.
And yeah, I'm excited to just get out.
Yeah.
You know,
You get a chance to
go
be around family
300
too.
miles away from where I teach.
Y'all
400
flying or
miles.
driving?
We're flying.
Oh,
We're
good,
flying.
good,
It only
good.
takes like an hour, so
Yeah.
it'll be a quick flight. And we're flying out of Burbank, which I'm very, very excited about. So for
Ah,
those of you guys who are
congratulations.
watching, Burbank Airport is so much better than
The
LAX. LAX is awful.
If you can avoid
It's crazy.
LAX, please, for the love of God,
It's so
avoid it.
terrible. LAX is really, really, really bad. It's the only time where you feel like you're walking with a chain gang onto like a bus because they're just pushing you.
It's
like,
not the worst airline though. The one in Texas is bad too.
one in Texas, which one?
The big one.
Dulles?
Dallas. Yeah.
Did you just call it Dulles?
No,
Isn't
Dallas.
No, Dulles, or is that on the East Coast? Dulles. No.
You call it
Dulles.
Dallas?
Yeah,
It's
Dulles.
It's called
That's
Dallas.
No. Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
take
called
that
Dulles.
back. Take all your
I thought you were
laughs
trying to
back.
say Dallas, and I was like, dude, is
No,
Chris
no,
saying
no.
Dulles? Have you been to
I
Dulles,
did think that.
Texas?
I thought the same thing.
It's like an
too.
alien pretending
Sorry
to be a
about that, Chris.
person.
Sorry about that, Chris. You're right. Sorry about that.
Dulles.
Yeah.
No, that's so
Yeah.
funny. We're like, it's called Dallas.
No.
dude.
You're right. We thought so. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
that
Dulles International Airport is a I just confused. I wasn't thinking it was Dallas.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Got it.
No, that airport.
I
is
wish
bad.
that's what you
That's
meant,
a
though.
huge
guys,
airport.
I
Maybe
do
even
this podcast with clowns. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry.
no. Chris thinks it's called Dulles, Texas.
Yeah,
But yeah, my week has been good. It's better now because it's like I'm finally decompressing because as we said before, our vacations as teachers, it's just war recovery.
Absolutely.
That's what it is. It's not really a vacation. It's just like you stepped on a mortar and now you have to sit and let a medic take care of you.
Absolutely.
You know, you guys are awesome for tuning in. Thank you so much. We see you guys. You guys ready to go to questions?
let's get a
Yes,
comment.
Let's get a comment up here.
Comment.
Yeah.
Something.
That's the folks are rating for.
Okay. this is a gigantic. This is like a Tolstoy book. I
Yeah.
like these big comments. I'll just read the top part.
Yeah.
Here in Greece, about a month ago, a public school teacher had a stroke and died in the
Oh
class.
my God.
Ooh.
A highly educated woman with a master's, a PhD, a love for learning, died because she was so stressed out. The kids threw bottles of water at her, flipped desks, threw chairs, yelling at her and bullying her. The parents even complained about her to the Ministry of Education, saying that she wasn't fit to teach.
Wow.
Dude, that's crazy.
That's crazy. That's disrespectful. That's so disrespectful. I mean, 'cause she has a PhD, first of all.
It pisses me off.
Okay, she has a PhD. She busted her butt through college, and y'all talking about she wasn't fit to teach. Come on, man. That's just disrespectful. And what they say they did to to her is just bad, disrespectful. And people don't understand how hard it is to teach. This is in Greece. We thought we had it bad over here. This is in Greece.
It just goes to show this
It's
is everywhere.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
it sucks, man. I'm not happy about that at all.
I mean, it's honestly like I think that the reason why there just needs to be more stories about this. More
Absolutely.
teachers need to speak up on social media. Sorry, guys, I really do believe
Yeah, that's
that
half the reason
more.
why when I used to tell people like what it's really like teaching in a big city, and especially you never tell a girl what it's the reality of teaching on a first date.
Yeah, because she's gonna think you're a
She's
monster that
A
hates
mo-
children.
Exactly.
Like you're the
I hate
Grinch and
him.
you
I
just
hate him, yeah.
throw eggs at
And-
children when they trick or treat.
Exactly. And so, but like, and you think about this situation, you go, hey, let's pretend for a second, right? Let's play devil's advocate that she wasn't a good teacher. That does not give any child a right to just be automatically disrespectful to an adult.
That part.
I talked back, and I mean this, one time, I talked back one time to an adult when I was in elementary school, and my dad handled it. End of story.
And the thing about it is too, is there's this new rhetoric too, to where it's almost like parents sometimes will encourage their kids to challenge the teacher. And it's like, dude, your child has a brain that is still in the oven. It's still cooking. Like
Yeah.
to send a kid into the classroom, and I'm not talking about like if a teacher's doing something that's like terrible. I'm just talking about like, well, my kid says that, you do that. Why are you listening to a sixth grader?
A kid that's lazy,
that does nothing.
making fart noises for
that makes
45
fart noises with his mouth,
Yeah,
and then he's
facts.
just carving song lyrics into a desk. It's like there's this weird thing to where sometimes, and you see it where parents sometimes attack us from stuff that we've said online, and they'll say something to the effect of, well, blah 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 blah. When I was a kid, da, da, da. It's like they have this weird grudge towards teachers, and it's just like it never gives you a right to talk back to somebody who's in a position of authority.
Yeah.
It's just like, dude, grow
Yeah.
up.
Even more than that, I've learned to respect adults, your elders. You see what I'm saying? Someone's older than you, you respect them with manners. Say yes, sir, no, sir. Listen to them because they try to tell you something, that's valuable that you can learn from. So if you don't respect adults, you're definitely not gonna respect teachers in a classroom because you don't have respect to someone that's older, that's been through more things than you, has learned a lot that you could ever imagine, that you could learn from. But if you want to be disrespectful to an adult, you definitely going to be disrespectful for a teacher too. Same thing.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it-
And how are you ever going to learn anything? Because nobody's
Absolutely.
going to you're unteachable,
Facts.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, and 90% of the time, dude, when a kid is disrespectful to adults, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say weak parents that let their kid
Preach.
run all over them.
Because they
Because-
want to be their friend more than they want to be their parent.
And
Trying to be a kid's friend is like a recipe for disaster.
yeah, or
Yeah.
just letting their kid get away with whatever. And so it is. There's no other way that you can say it unless a kid is born with some biological issue that prevents them from acting in a way that we consider normal, right? So if that is absent, which we would absolve the kid from any responsibility, the only other thing to look at is parents or lack of parents.
Facts.
A lot of the stuff that's going on, people think that a lot of these kids are just living this Batman life that's so sad and so tragic. Really what it is just a lot of parental neglect.
Yeah, they're
That's
just letting
really
them do whatever
what
they
it is.
want.
It's like, well, John has a hard life. And like, well, his mom brought him McDonald's at lunch. So how hard is it?
Yeah,
You
man.
know?
It's sad.
It is. Let's go to the next comment. All right. We need people that care about them to provide them with consequences and accountability. We don't want the first time they experience real accountability to be in a workplace. I've heard that a lot of like employers, I don't know how true this is, but whenever they're hiring like, Gen Z or Gen Alpha, that they're just having like way more problems. But I just can only imagine that kids, if they are acting like this now, they're not even going to be able to hold down a job at McDonald's. Remember when people used to say that to you as a kid? They'd
That was
always
a
say
threat.
things, that was a threat. Be like, well, the only place you're going to be able to work at is McDonald's. What do you do when you can't work at McDonald's? When you don't even know how to drop fryers into grease?
You can't even show up on time.
You can't show up on time. You can't drop fries into grease. Like, you can't sit still. My first job was actually at Kroger. I was a bag boy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a bag boy. That's what they called us. It's like a bag boy.
Dude, I worked in the seafood department at Wegmans grocery store in Erie, Pennsylvania.
Kroger's
Really?
in Heron, Illinois.
I actually worked at McDonald's.
You actually worked at McDonald's.
see,
There we
look at
go.
that.
Yes, I actually worked at McDonald's. Booyah.
Tell us about it.
It was hard. Putting burgers and all that type of stuff. I didn't like it, but it made me be more responsible because like, people got to eat the food. You see what I'm saying? So I had to make sure I made the burger right, just so people could eat. Because you had cameras on you too. So if you mess up a burger, you're gonna get rolled up. So you had to follow a system. You know what I'm saying? And you had to just really pay attention to everything. So it made me just really be responsible at the same time.
Yeah, I worked at Wendy's for my second job.
Ready?
But I didn't work at McDonald's. I feel like Wendy's is like slightly a step up.
No.
But dude,
Wendy's
I used to make
upgrade.
Frosties and go in the closet and like slurp them. And the boss would be like, "Are you in there eating Frosties?" Like he would yell like he was my dad.
Yeah, I
And
mean
I
my
was
own
like,
burgers. I mean my own burgers all the time.
Now,
Yeah.
here's a question I got to ask you since you
Okay.
worked at McDonald's.
Okay.
Was your milkshake machine always broken?
Did it have roaches in it?
Absolutely.
It was always
it had roaches
broken?
in it. It was always broken. They had to get it fixed all the time. I don't understand why, but it was always broken.
Are you just covering for your 16-year-old job? They really didn't have roaches in it.
I never seen roaches. Never.
My
Never.
fiance worked at Chick-fil-A and she told me that there were always roaches. Yeah, always.
Chick-fil-A?
Sorry, guys. Hopefully that doesn't go with the Chick-fil-A sponsorship. If they want to
That's
sponsor
why to this
Teacher's
day I
Lounge.
don't eat fast food anymore. Any fast food, I don't mess with
I
it.
try not to, but it's like a bad decision. You know what I mean? Every now and then, I'm not above Raising Cane's or even Chick-fil-A. But I really
Raising Cane's is not bad.
It's not bad, but
I
it
don't-
smells weird.
Yeah, it does. But that's the best chicken breast out of any restaurant. Raising Cane's is
Raising Cane's is good.
So,
yeah.
It's just not good for you.
also, just to go back to this comment that
Okay.
the lady was saying, somebody, and I can't remember if it was Time and Ship that said it, or it was someone else. I think it might have been Timon.
Okay.
Timon once said to me, he goes, the first authority figures that you have in your life are your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So your parents have to come down on you because your next after that is going to be your teachers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so your teachers need to come because then after that, because if you don't learn it from there, then you got to learn it from a boss at a job.
Yep.
And if you don't learn it
coach,
from
yeah.
there,
Police.
guess who's your next authority figure after that? The legal system.
Facts.
And he goes, so your goal is to raise the kids so that they don't have the issues while they go up
Yeah.
through it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because
You have
if they're
to
having
learn it.
issues at school, guess who they're going to go up to next
Mm-hmm.
with accountability issues? And,
Dude, so many things that teachers try to get you to do when you're a kid, like sit down, sit still. That is going to help you so much later in life.
Yeah.
People who rob banks probably just couldn't sit still in school. You know what I mean? Like they can't be in one place and just deal with their thoughts
Mm-hmm.
and themselves.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like being able to sit down is such a huge thing that you need to learn. It's the same reason why people tell you to meditate, because you don't react to every single thought.
Mm-hmm.
It teaches you to watch your thoughts and not respond.
To your
You can be
thoughts.
the observer, right?
Mhm.
and the main thing, right, is to sit is so that you're listening.
Yeah.
So that when you're listening, you're open to receiving information that's being passed along with you. kids that are moving and doing whatever, right? They can't learn because they're doing other things, you know? And when you think of like, oh man, I don't know why, but I thought that I was going to go and even add on even more. But one of the things too is like, man, I had this thought and now it's gone.
Does she hate
Okay,
that?
if I get it back, we're coming back. But go.
Yeah, no, all I was gonna say is it's like kids have to learn these lessons because if they don't, everything's gonna get progressively worse. Your life is
Yeah.
gonna suck. If you can't sit still, if you can't not touch other people,
Yeah.
that's going to lead to the legal system later on in life. It's just, yeah, you have to learn that now. So totally agree with them. You want to go to the next one?
Let's go.
I'm going to give some context for this. So this was a message that was actually sent to me. And I talked to the guy and I told him, look, I'm going to cut out your photo and your screen name. So there's nothing. And so I thought he was asking to be on the podcast because he had an interesting story to tell. So that's why he goes, I really appreciate your quick reply. I wasn't even really trying to get on as a guest. Just discuss all the dumb acronyms, buzzwords, and other pedagogical issues. I was actually the victim of student-led harassment that administration did nothing about. It led to union meetings, administrative leave. Students have called my personal cell, etc. Admin emboldened this until it eventually got out of control. I have documentation to prove all this. Guess what?
Document.
No. The guy shared it with me.
Oh,
Okay.
geez.
It was horrendous what these kids did.
Really?
And I'm so glad. Thank you so much again, if he's watching, for sharing this with me. And it was 100% cyberbullying and harassment on those kids' part. And I know that absolutely nothing is going to happen to those kids. And I'm going to go even further.
But why would he cyberbullying him? Would he tell the kid?
How was it
start?
happening? Can you disclose that?
They were harassing him online. And that's what I'm going to leave it at. You guys can fill in the blank of whatever they were doing with pictures or whatever.
For no reason though, right?
And using AI. Because, and I talked to the guy, he was just trying to do the job correctly. And he got a group of kids that were awful people. That happens. So I'm going to share this story, ready? And this goes along with that one. So there was a teacher I read about that somebody had started sending messages from a Facebook account with his name, sending it to girls in the class, that sending messages, right? Explicit messages. He got put on administrative leave for, right? That it must be sexual misconduct, kind of, right? And he's going after these young high school girls that he's a teacher of. Check this out. They were able to track the IP address of where it all originated from. It actually came from one girl in his classroom. Ready? She didn't like the grade that she got. So what this guy had his Facebook profile, it was open at the time. It wasn't set to private. She basically made a clone of it through all the pictures and made it look exactly like it.
Oh my gosh.
And was messaging.
Wow.
So this guy got
what
put
a little nightmare.
Yeah. He got put in one of those like almost like rubber rooms that was in downtown where teachers just had to sit there. It was called teacher jail. You had to sit
teacher jail.
Yeah. Had to sit
hilarious,
there
but that's what
for the 8 hours, right? Oh, by the way, no due process. They don't tell you why you're there. None of it. Right?
Universally, they don't do that.
They attack you.
They just attack you. So
they just good cop, bad cop
sounds
you for like
very
8 hours?
American, doesn't it? Yep. Yeah. And then then you have to keep showing up there every single day, right? And until they conduct their investigation, and you're not even allowed to ask why you're there. That's bad. That's horrible. Yeah. So then he gets released back to his school, and everyone is calling him what? A pedophile.
Wow.
And he's like, what is going on? And then he finds out, guess what? Nothing happened to the girl.
What?
That
dude, she should have to go to juvenile.
She
yep.
She didn't get expelled at all?
Nothing.
Wow.
So
that's disgusting.
And then so I know that he ended up having to, and I only read about this, I've never met this guy. He ended up having to transfer to another school completely. And I
Oh,
go,
yeah.
and
I would
nothing,
sue her parents.
and that girl, nothing happened.
I would sue her parents,
But
yo.
people got to
Yeah.
understand, and I'm going to say this, you would be surprised what kids are doing and getting away with, that if they were adults, like they would be fired from their job, right? They'd be
Mhm.
going to jail, all of this. And they're allowed free reign to do all of this to
That's
other
horrible.
adults, other kids. It's crazy what they
Yeah,
get away
dude,
with.
because
That's
even though
disrespectful.
they're 4 grade levels behind, they will learn how to use the internet effectively.
Yeah.
And what's crazy is, there was one time, like, somebody said, "Hey, so and so is gonna take your voice and use it as AI, so that way they can try to get you in trouble." And I squashed it. It could have been a rumor, right? But at the same time, it's like, that's still, like, a concerning thing to hear.
Absolutely,
Somebody's
yeah.
gonna take your voice and make it, I mean,
That's
I
it.
feel like with AI, the one good thing about AI is people are now skeptical about everything they see on the internet.
Yeah,
I really do believe that,
yeah.
because I've seen so many people make, like, these things that say, "Oh, this world leader, they released an AI video." Like, a lot of people are not believing anything that they're seeing. So that is a good thing in a sense, especially for us as teachers.
Yeah,
But
but
at the same
it
time,
makes you scared not to speak your mind.
it
You
will.
feel like you can't like discipline kids in the classroom because of that.
Well, it's very scary, and I remember, because, like, during, like, a few years ago, I started to reread, not to go off on, like, a side tangent or anything, but I started to reread 1984, and one of the things that it was talking about is, like, kids just ratting you out to the system and, like, turning you in, and I've thought about that section in the book now that I'm a teacher a whole lot more,
Uh,
because there are so many kids that, like, you were the first person in their life that is telling them no, that is telling them to sit down, that is giving them any kind of discipline. So they don't read that as, "Hey, this teacher is preparing me for structure and for rules that the world is going to enforce upon me, and I'm going to end up in a really bad situation if I don't listen to them when I get older." They're not thinking about that. They're like, "Why is this adult yelling at me? Why are they picking on me? Why are they pointing me out? Why are they bullying me? Why do they hate me?" That's what they think, because they've never heard of discipline
I,
before. It's a
yeah.
foreign concept to them. So they're like, "I'm going to destroy him." So now they have this whole plethora of tools that they can use, like a saw trap, like, take your saw, take your knife, take whatever weapon of choice you have, and let me see how I can cut up my
Well,
teacher.
let me play
It's like,
devil's advocate, and I also believe in karma. I think what you put out, you get
sure.
back. You see what I'm saying? What if this teacher? I'm not saying this is true, but what if this teacher was mean and was an a-hole to these kids in school, and no one believed them? So these kids say, you know what? I'm gonna cyberbully this teacher. You know what? I'm gonna get this teacher in trouble somehow because no one's believing me. So I'm gonna set this teacher up. I'm not saying it's correct, but can you imagine that being that happening at the same time? This teacher's so
Oh,
horrible and
sure.
is doing the wrong thing in classroom, and the kids are upset. So I have seen kids write teachers up and not get any responses, and they took the teacher's side all the time. I don't believe all teachers are right, but I think if a child did something to mess a teacher up, I'm not saying it's correct, I'm not saying it's right, but they did it because it's the only way they go get some type of validation for what they've been
I think
explaining
that
the whole time at
I
school.
agree with you that
Yeah.
that can be very true. I think that those kind of cases are so extremely rare,
Hmm.
and um, but of course they 100% happen. But usually when somebody is like that, I imagine they also wouldn't receive also a bunch of good letters from all the good kids going, "You're such a great teacher.
Hmm.
Sorry, kids are mean," and
Absolutely.
blah blah blah.
Hmm.
But of course, because that's the thing. What that's weird about teaching, right? And this brings up just you have coworkers, but we're all in our classrooms, so we don't really get to see, what somebody is actually doing. You get to hear about things,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but most of the time, usually when someone's a bad teacher, it's because they've given up on trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think teachers, they can sometimes adopt that learned helplessness, because it's like, how many times do you get interrupted a day? Like, as a
Oh,
teacher,
It's
it's trying
frustrating.
to get. I did a
yeah.
teacher talk the other day, and people related to it, but I was talking about, if you want to know what it's like to teach in 2026, buy 71 alarm clocks and then set them all 2 minutes apart from each other, but they're going to keep going off. And it's like, "Ding, can I go to the bathroom? Ding, can I have a
2
Band-Aid?
minutes,
Ding."
30
No,
seconds.
or even 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Ding, what's your favorite color?
Every 2
Just
minutes is a good
alarm
day.
clocks going off
Yeah.
all day long. And you're hitting the snooze button and they're coming back right as you're hitting the snooze button on a different one. You cannot get through instruction. So I think some teachers are just like,
Burnt out.
man, you know what? Why try? Now that's not right. You shouldn't do that. That's wrong. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't get it. Of course I get it, because it's like you're trying to teach. It's so hard to teach. Teaching is way last on the list now. Teaching is like you're doing karate. You're just correcting behavior. We're behavioral correctional
100%.
officers. That's what we
number
do.
one.
We're behavioral
Number one.
correctional, and it's simple stuff like not standing on chairs,
Yeah.
not like throwing trash all over the floor and then wiping it up with your shoe. Like it's just please don't do that in here.
And you know what
It's
sucks?
it's constant
is
just
you have-
behavioral
Yeah,
correction.
and you have to constantly think as a teacher about how can someone take something good and ruin it. Like everything that you think of, like how could somebody try to, like, I don't know, if you let kids go into your classroom, to good kids, and you step out just to talk to the other teacher or something like that, and you allow them to pass out books, you got to think to yourself, even the good kids, I can't even let them be alone for 15 seconds passing out books, because what's something crazy that can, you always have to think, I guess what it is, worst case scenario.
Every time.
Worst case
Every
scenario.
time.
Every time.
Yeah, and it's crazy because it's like I honestly believe that if I fell asleep in certain classes, that somebody would go to the hospital. Not even kidding.
Yeah.
That's how much, like, I think certain kids, it's just they don't know how to behave. Like you have to be on them at all times. And I'm not even a strict teacher,
Yeah.
you know, but every year I get stricter and stricter,
Yeah.
you know? So do we have one last comment, or was that
Yeah,
our last
let's-
one? Oh, other teachers feel this way? I felt I was alone. It's so funny. That's just any time that we talk about you are not alone.
I am here with you.
Is that from the Space Jam soundtrack?
They probably put it on there.
Yeah, I think it was on the Space Jam soundtrack.
Yeah, but I think it's older than that though. But
Yeah, I feel like dementia setting in. I'm like trying to sing it. What's so funny is our oldies are literally like Smash Mouth and Brandy.
facts.
That's
Funny.
that's our oldies.
That's so
No,
funny.
it's amazing because I do feel like the reason why we started this page is because we're comedians. We want to be funny. We like to tell the truth, but at the same time, it was a way to be able to be a pressure valve for
Absolutely.
teachers.
Special
And
sales.
I think that a lot of teachers, it's very taboo to talk about what's going on in education because since you're working with kids, people cannot read between the lines a lot of times on social media.
No, they can't.
You'll say, yeah, man, kids are acting crazy. Why do you hate children and why are you against them? Why are you speaking
What did
ill?
you do to them?
What did you do? Like, that's what people
Why are
hear
you
on social
teaching?
media.
Why are
There's
you
no
teaching?
nuance. There's
Yeah,
no
yeah,
gray.
yeah.
Everything is black and white. It's like, it's either or thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I think that a lot of people are maybe afraid, not to paint ourselves as like these wartime heroes. I'm just saying, I think some people are nervous about talking about what goes on in the classroom because they're afraid of being perceived as negative. And we've talked about
Yeah.
that. a
Well,
lot,
and they also don't
you
want to
know?
be judged too. They don't want to be judged
Uh-huh.
what they talk about because their job is on the line too. They feel like they don't want to
Yeah.
speak. That's why you got so many shares and not likes and stuff because people are scared to say something that they really feel, and they're stressed the whole time doing their job.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the worst thing ever.
It is the worst thing ever. But you
Yeah.
guys are not alone. We are your priests. No, we're not priests. But we want to make you guys feel, you know, like we're all in this together. We really are. This is Band of Brothers Teacher Edition, you know, and we are all like
100%.
literally going through the same thing as you saw earlier in Greece.
Yes.
Somebody in Greece was going through this, and it's like, oh, everybody's going through this.
Yeah, this is worldwide. You know what I'm
And
saying?
it's a lot of things, dude. It's the taking away of consequences. It's parents not parenting, and I still do believe that it is the phone because if you are always on your phone and you're doing parental neglect when you should be watching your kid, maybe change that because now we got to deal with it, and our jobs suck because of it.
Yes.
So please do something about it.
And
You know,
it doesn't bode well for the future.
no, not at all. You want like the president to be like talking on there and be like, yeah, like I'm gonna vote for this guy because he does good at Roblox. That's what people are going to be running on. We're living in
Facts.
idiocracy and like
Yeah.
we're already there, but it's going to be compounded in the next few years.
Good stuff.
So,
So
Yeah.
cool. Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for following, liking, sharing, commenting, private messages on all the social media platforms. We really appreciate it.